Honestly, now that I say it, it's not the stupidest idea in the world, is it? It solved a lot of fucking problems. Maybe MLK was wrong.
Alright, folks, and we are live. And we'll be bringing Luke here in a minute. I hope you all have your suits on. Hope you all have your big boy suits on, because we will be discussing some pan-European politics tonight. So it's important that you have your suits on. Now, I'll be having Luke on tonight, and I'm having the good Captain Morgan with me tonight, and we might be taking some calls later. Now, as you all know, if it's Saturday night, it's time for Bechtloff. But I want to remind you all that if it's Sunday night, it's time for Jim. And tomorrow night at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, or I don't know, is it Standard or is it Daylight? Whatever, Eastern Time. Tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern, our good friend Carl Benjamin is going to be having a stream in which he's going to be discussing Mr. Medicare, a.k.a. Jim. And Jim's going to stream snipe it on his channel. And it should be a lot of fun. And we'll be getting into that more, what led up to that, and how much I personally am very much looking forward to that. I don't know what to expect from it, though. Other than damn good YouTube. I can tell you it's going to be that much. But I don't know what to expect from it. Jim will, even if the Carl thing doesn't happen, even if Sargon's stream doesn't happen, Jim intends to be doing a weekly stream anyways regarding the septic community. So he'll be streaming at least something about that. I don't know how long it's going to go. I was thinking I might do a post-game stream on my channel if I have anything to add to it, anything to say about it. So if you're watching Jim's stream and it comes to an end, you might want to hop over here and I might be starting something up. Again, depends on how the whole thing goes. And I should also be on Fallen Angel Cinema again tomorrow night. Again, depends on how YouTube's main event tomorrow goes. Because anybody who's not watching that is a fool, in my humble opinion. And we got a lot of shit to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about the Jim Sargon drama. We're going to be talking about they might be casting a black dude as Superman. The EU voted to destroy the internet earlier this week. There's some shit going on about the new Spider-Man game journalists being the kind of fucking people they are. And of course, I can't get away from it. The Horror Babylon's up to some more shenanigans this week, aren't they always? So we'll have to be talking about that. So, we're going to go ahead and hop over into the Discord and bring Luke on board. And make sure this is working okay. And this is unmuted. Luke, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
All right, and they should be able to hear you just fine. Are you hyped for the main event tomorrow, Luke?
Oh, this should be fun.
So, Sargon it's seeming like he's intending to dox Jim. That's what everyone's saying. He now supposedly some people are speculating he's going off of a dox that was put on Kiwi Farms a couple years ago, even, I think, that is confirmed not true. But it's gonna be something. Now, let's back up. For those of you that haven't been following this, let's back up. What happened to Sargon, you might add? Why has Sargon lost his mind? And by the way, a lot of interesting things are regarding this. Tonka Saul of the Morning Kumite, of all motherfucking people, was on Twitter taking Sargon and Kraut's side against Jim.
Oh, no.
I don't know what happened there. Tonka lost his mind. If you want my humble opinion of it, I think it's that Jim is now hanging out on the Ralph retort rather than the Kumite, and there's basically jealous ex-girlfriend shit going on. I don't know how else to put it. But Tonka, I don't know what... Tonka's always been the weakest link among these guys when it comes to... I should say among... Not the weakest link. That's not fair. Because, I mean, you know, Andy Worski's batshit fucking insane half the time. But Tonka's always had a screw loose, in my opinion. You know, he's way too quick to... and I enjoy the Morning Kumite. I really do. I watch it a lot whenever I get the chance. But Tonka's always way too quick to be like, you know, fight me in real life, nigga. Let's get in the octagon or whatever dumb shit, you know. Yeah, you live on the other side of North America, but we'll crowdfund flying you to me or some dumb shit like that, right? And what have I said numerous times on here the past few weeks? Whoa, what are you doing there? Hey, easy. Background noise there. But what have I said numerous times here? The ego gets you. And Tonka Saul's got a little too much of the ego. He doesn't know how to he takes himself too seriously. And he'll say otherwise, but he lets himself fall into that trap too much. And, you know, we're all prone to fall into that trap a little bit, but he does it a lot. So, yeah. Anyways, let's back up. What happened to Sargon, you might ask? Well, we're going to need to back up a little bit, too. I guess it was earlier this year. Maybe it was late last year. When Sargon had a debate, and Richard Spencer was there, and I think Styx and Hexenhammer was there, and I don't fucking know. Some other people were there. The dog's making a bunch of noise in the background. It's pissing me off and distracting me. But the point is, again, really distracting me. I will end you, mutt. Anyways, what the fuck are you doing?
He's playing. He wants some attention.
He's about to get some. He's not gonna like it.
Oh, I just saw the Mario meme with with Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah. I think the butt naked guy said that to me. That's great stuff. Anyways, Sargon and Spencer having a back and forth, and Spencer said something. Now, Sargon was kind of losing. You could maybe argue it either way, but I don't think Sargon was happy with how it was going. And Spencer said something to Sargon that cut him to his soul, and that was, Sargon, you're not as smart as you think you are. And then Sargon lost his mind, and he formed the Liberalist Party. And that pothead Andy Worski pushed his shit in regarding that. And so you cut to a few weeks ago. Sargon sort of half abandoned the Liberalist Party. He's officially joined UKIP. Pardon me. And for a brief moment, you would have been forgiven for thinking that maybe Sargon has pulled his head out of his ass. And maybe he's put his ego aside and he's going to actually try and accomplish some things without it being all about huffing his own farts. You would have been forgiven for a brief hot minute there for thinking that. So he has this meeting with like Nigel Farage and other politicians. First thing this motherfucker does when he's done with it is he goes online and he starts running his mouth about how, and I'm pretty much quoting here. I don't have it right in front of me, so maybe I'm getting a word or two wrong, but I'm pretty much quoting this when I say he was running his mouth saying, I'm involved in pan-European politics, and Jim is leading the Lost Boys on Pleasure Island. Honestly, Jim, do you even own a suit? First fucking thing he does after he has a meeting with politicians. And what does that tell you? Well, it tells me, boys and girls, that this wasn't about trying to make the world a better place, trying to fix problems in his country. This was about his ego. Because the first thing he did, like he had a fucking crush on Jim, was go online and run his mouth about how I'm a big boy with a big boy suit. And there's nothing sadder than a motherfucker who's so concerned about appearing grown up. What was it? I don't have a quote in front of me, but the C.S. Lewis quote where, you know, when I became a man, I put away childish things, and among those childish things was the rampant desire to always appear grown up. You know, when you really are an adult, you don't have to prove it. You don't feel insecure about that. You don't have to... You're not afraid of appearing childlike from time to time. Now, so he runs his mouth about how he has a big boy suit. And Jim was thoroughly amused and proceeded to make fun of his big boy suit about how it wasn't very well tailored. I believe the phrase, "you look like an Applebee's waiter," was thrown around quite a bit. Much like "you're not as smart as you think you are," this cut Sargon to his core, and he lost his fucking mind. And now, and he's had it up for days, he put half a week ahead of time a stream up called Hello Jim, in which he's going to go after Jim. And by the way, this is also coincides with the fact that on Sunday, while tearing into Mundane Matt on his stream, Jim has decided he's going to make it a regular thing to tear into the skeptic community, to tear into these fedoras with their banana butts and their boulder collecting. So that's going to be tomorrow.
You even read Thomas Paine. Jesus Christ. Do you even have authorities to appeal to? Sargon, I think your problem is you're full of shit.
Have you even read Loki? That's some deep meme lore too. I know it's pronounced Locke. That's also making fun of Andy Worski, called it Loki one time, and then that became a meme. I know we're at like meme level 9 on some of these things, so it's like
we're on an Inception level of memes.
Like,
a meme within a meme within a meme within a meme.
I know explaining this deep lore is like, it's like for me as a comic book fan, if somebody's like, "What can you tell me about the Spider-Man villain Carnage?" And I'm like, "Well, shit, how much time you got?" Because first I got to explain Venom to you, and then what do you know about the Beyonder and the Sin Eater? Like, how much time you got, you know? So that's what it is with some of these memes here, folks. You know, I realize, you know, some of you may not have caught as much of this bullshit as I have. Anyways,
But so, yeah, so he's going to try to dox Jim, right?
Well, we don't know that for sure, but all signs seem to be pointing in that direction. He's definitely going to really tear into Jim, because, you know, Jim doesn't take this all seriously enough. Lord save me from people who take themselves too fucking seriously. I've been on that for a while now, but there's nothing more cringy to me anymore. There's nothing... You can't... I don't know how to put this, but it's almost like... The catch-22 of life is you can't truly be an adult if you're constantly concerned about being an adult, and you can't really accomplish serious things if you're constantly... I don't know, you can't change the world from 3 feet up your own ass, is the crude and short way to put this, I suppose, okay? You know, like, let go of your fucking ego a bit, okay? I know nobody likes to be made fun of, and nobody, you know, everybody... But come on, guys, all right? Come on.
The whole situation reminds me of that one clip from Taken, where he's on the phone like, I will look for you, I will find you, and I will dox you. And Jim's like, good luck.
Yeah. Jim, I don't think Jim cares if he is doxed. That's the thing about it. I think you could dox him, and you made yourself look like a complete shitbag there, Sargon. And you don't even stop Jim. I think he'll just keep doing his streams like he's always fucking doing them. Like, you know, Whoopi J.
Although it'd be nice, maybe he'll use the I don't know if he's going to go back to using that, because it'd be nice if he just kept the Internet Aristocrat logo. That was funny.
And that's the other thing. There's no... unless he's playing some truly ninth dimensional Candyland that I can't even begin to fathom, there's no way Sargon doesn't look like garbage at the end of this. There's no way he wins. Because if he doxes Jim, everyone's going to hate him for that. Even his fans are going to hate him for that because it's hypocritical to positions he's taken in the past. If he comes out there with nothing, then everybody's going to be mad that he wasted their time. You know, there's no way he wins as a result of this. There just isn't.
He should have just stuck to This Week in Stupid and just stayed with that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, you should have just made fun of blue hairs for as long as the Patreon money came in.
Well, it's still coming in, so
it was. Oh yeah, he's doing all right. But again, it was ego. It was ego. And see, therein lies the other point. What ego does to you is you can't even truly enjoy your success. Therein lies the other point. Sargon can never truly enjoy his success because he's always insecure about it. You know? Like, a guy like that can never truly enjoy his success because part of him feels like a fraud and like it's all going to go away any minute. The other part of him, like I said, he just truly can't enjoy it. You know? It's you know, sins tend to have their own punishment built into them, and the sin of pride is no exception.
Oh yeah, I'm reminded of an old phrase from, I forget, I think it was a civil rights writer, I forget who said it, but people pay for what they do, and they do so more for with the lives they lead.
So we got some other stuff to talk about. Speaking of Sargon, speaking of you know, pan-European politics, the EU this week decided to vote to kill the internet. Thank you, Europe. And you know what? Fuck Europe. I said this the other day. I'll say it again. Fuck Europe. And here's another thing. Fuck every one of you on this new right, alt-right, dissident right that sneers at America and looks to Europe as some sort of example. And you know who you are. You know who you are, all right? A lot of you trads are like this. A lot of you hyper trads are like this. Oh, America's so uncultured. We should be more like Europe. I remember when it was the faggy leftists that used to say that. But no, we shouldn't, okay? Fucking America, all right? You know what I'm going to do when that if and when the day comes that shitty law passes? And it might destroy the internet whole hog because these tech companies will just go along with it for everybody. But maybe that'll wake everybody in America up, and, you know, who knows. Point is, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go shoot my gun and eat a cheeseburger, and assuming the internet isn't dead, I'm going to go, you know, look at a picture of titties on it. Nice ginger titties, too. That's what I'm going to do the day that law passes, because I'm a fucking free man. America, fuck yeah! Come out and feel the state the motherfucking day, yeah! Exactly. And fucking exactly. There, you know, America has its problems. Don't get me wrong. We certainly do. But there is nowhere on God's green earth that I'd rather live. Not one fucking place. All right? What, I gonna want to go live in the UK where I gotta have a jacking off license and I'm not allowed to own a butter knife? You know? I'm gonna go live in Germany where Mama Merkel's gonna fucking throw me in prison if I complain about the Muslim that's ass raping me? Fuck no. I don't have a ton to say about this, but if you haven't heard about it, it's the two big things are the hyperlink, the link tax, and what is the other thing? Article 13, where you can't upload copyrighted information. So basically, if you link to a news article you're writing about on your shitty blog spot or whatever, you know, or you upload a meme, then yeah, you're gonna get fined or something. I don't know how they begin to think they're gonna fucking implement this. I don't understand what they think how they think this is gonna happen. I mean, it's no exaggeration to say this would destroy the internet. Never mind the censorship. The mere act of enforcing this shit would so bottleneck the internet that, you know, I mean, everything would move at roughly the speed of fucking AOL and Netscape again. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know how they think they're going to do this. You know, but whatever. Fuck Europe. And fuck anyone who thinks that it's something to look up to. You know, Richard Spencer was actually against Brexit because he wants to keep the EU because he thinks he and his ilk are going to take it over and turn it into the pan-white empire. That's real shit that idiot believes, by the way.
Yeah, good luck with that one. You'll Sargon will have a better luck doxing Jim.
Yeah, you and Sargon maybe can team up on that. You know, Sargon can make sure nobody's acting like white niggers, and asking the question. Maybe MLK was wrong, but yeah, you and Sargon can team up on that. I'm sure it'll go great. You can bury the hatchet, team up together. Okay, moving on. And folks, by the way, if you do want to call, you know, check out in the Discord. If somebody could throw a link into the chat for the Discord, that'd be greatly appreciated. We might hop into the voice later. Maybe message me on the Skype stare, as Cantwell used to say. You know, at the Bechtloff on there. And we'll probably take callers later today, because we're going to be blowing through these topics, because, I mean, some of them, it's like, what do you even fucking say? You know what I mean? Well, let's move on from the topic of pan-European politics. We're going to take our big boy suits off and go back to Pleasure Island. We're going to talk about some cape shit, some superhero shit, because I love me some cape shit. First, let's talk about the Spider-Man game on the PS4. Now, I am hearing nothing, or I should say almost nothing, but good things about that game. It's the first time a game has come out on the PS4 that has me remotely wishing I owned a PS4. So you got a mild amount of envy from this Nintendo fanboy, you Sony cucks. Anyways, let's take a look at, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. This article not only shows why game journalists are garbage, but it also shows why the hyper leftists that have infiltrated comics and all can't write decent superhero stories. This is an actual fucking thing that one of these idiots is arguing. The article on theconcourse.deadspin.com, they turned Spider-Man into a damn cop and it sucks, by Tom Lay. Okay, so he goes on here. Here we go. Here, we're just gonna highlight this. We're just gonna highlight this part because we're not gonna read through the whole article because you know what? Life's too fucking short for that, isn't it? Granted, I am only a few hours into the game, but so far the primary objective boils down to help the cops. Not just any cops either, but the NYPD specifically, because the game takes place in a true-to-life rendering of New York City. Now,
So, wait, so a vigilante superhero is helping out the cops, and that's a problem.
Yes, so we're upset that a crime-fighting superhero is fighting crime. We're upset that in a superhero game, you do superhero stuff. This is as out of touch as like if one of the like, I don't know, one of the boomer right-wing churchianity cucks, when they whine about how like you shoot people in Grand Theft Auto and you commit crimes. It's like, well no shit, that's the fucking point. You're playing as a gangster. You know, if you don't want to do that, don't pick that game up maybe. Maybe it's not for you. If you don't want to fight crime because you're such a cuck, you think all them good boys didn't do nothing, then maybe you don't pick up a game where you play as a motherfucking crime fighter. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there.
This brings a whole definition to the term "go woke" or "go broke" because they're just so, or these people are broke already. They're just complaining that they're not woke like they are.
So yeah, that's what and that's not just that article. It's getting passed around. All the fucking shitbag leftists are saying this now. How come Spider-Man helps the cops? Why is he helping the cops? I don't understand. I thought he was gonna march in a Black Lives Matter parade. Fuck you. And this is why these leftists can't write decent superhero books either. Because, there is something intrinsically K-type, intrinsically kind of right-wing about the superhero genre. It's a man with some sort of abilities, maybe trained, maybe earned, maybe given through accidents of fate, that goes out there and does what is right. And there's something anti-egalitarian about it too. There's people who have risen above the normal crowd, either through, again, birthright, accident of fate, or in the case of something like Batman or Punisher or Green Arrow or something, the more human vigilantes, they've done that themselves. They've trained themselves up to that point. But the point is, there's very right-wing themes in, and a while ago on a stream, we covered something right after the Wonder Woman movie came out, where somebody was talking about how superheroes are it was a left-winger complaining about how superheroes are inherently right-wing in some regard. There really is an element of that. And that's why these hyper-leftist SJWs can't write decent superhero books to save their souls. Or what's the black shriveled little things that their souls are. And speaking of cape shit, they
I found this other. Sorry, before we continue, I found this other article on Kotaku that's actually titled "Spider-Man's Take on Police Feels Out of Touch," and in it there says, "Meanwhile, Spider-Man's enthusiasm for the police, for his stated love for busting drug deals to a cheesy Spider cop impersonation, had my coworker Tim Rogers calling Spidey a narc."
Well, I think that Tim Rogers should get out of my helicopter. And hell, I'm not even big on the war on drugs, but fuck you. Fuck you.
What was that one person said we should be for it anyway because it drives the left insane?
Yeah, that's somebody in my comment thread once said that. He goes, when I was talking about why I think pot should be legal, or should be made legal, it was like, well, Bechtloff, you forgot one thing. Leftists really, really like weed, and keeping it illegal hurts them. And I'm like, well, shit, that is the first decent argument for keeping pot illegal I've ever heard. Like, don't get me wrong, I still think it should be legal, but you actually managed to sway me ever so slightly in your direction with that argument. I've heard tons of arguments against making weed legal, and that's the first one I thought remotely made any sense. That wasn't complete horseshit. I'm like, wow, yeah, doing it just out of spite. I'm kind of with you on that. Anyways. Pardon me. So, moving on to other cape shit. Henry Cavill is out as Superman in the DC movies. Probably because he finally was able to get out of his contract and he realized that those movies all suck. They all do. Man of Steel's okay. Man of Steel is okay. Wonder Woman was damn good. That's a fluke, though. The rest of the DC Cinematic Universe movies suck a big old horse dick. And you're talking to someone that loves superhero movies, that's inclined to like them. Now, Shazam does look good. And I'm cautiously optimistic about Aquaman. It looks okay. I kind of think those two might be good. But by and large, I think the DC Cinematic Universe is unsalvageable. All that said, Henry Cavill is out. And they're actually kicking around the idea of, what the hell's his name? Michael P. Johnson or something? He was one of the guys in Black Panther, not the main guy. But they're thinking of making him Superman. So, there's a few things I want to say about this. Number one, I am not inherently opposed to changing the race of a character when you're adapting from, say, a comic book to a movie. In fact, there have been times that I've actually liked the casting in those regards. I like Michael Clark Duncan's Kingpin in the 2003 Daredevil. In fact, I like a lot of things about that movie. I think it's very underrated. The only thing I think is bad is Jennifer Gardner's Elektra. You could argue it sinks the whole movie, but it's really the only flaw as far as I'm concerned. I like Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White in Man of Steel. I like that black guy that's Heimdall in Thor. That's okay. I'm all right with that. The problem with this is twofold. Number one, you'll notice this shit only goes one way. Okay? You notice this shit only goes one way. If we take a non-white character and cast a white person, these fucking social justice warriors pitch a monstrous fucking fit. So you know that it's just anti-white. Second of all, there are certain characters, and I don't necessarily have an exact line on this, on where this ends and begins, but there are certain characters that have such iconic looks that I don't want that messed with at all. I want an actor who plays Superman to look like fucking Superman. And that goes even deeper than race. I don't want a blonde Superman. Okay? I want a motherfucker that looks like Superman. There are certain characters that let's just keep the look right, okay? You know, when you're dealing with an ancillary character like say Perry White, I don't think it's as big a deal. But if you're dealing with motherfucking Superman, I think it is. And that's before, again, you even consider the fact that this isn't some sort of artistic choice. It's just blatantly anti-white. Okay? Again, we're not going to see a white Blade, are we? No, that's not going to fucking happen. And if it did, they'd pitch a fit. In fact, the anti-white shit is so blatant that they actually complain they didn't cast an Asian man as Iron Fist, despite the fact that that character is white in the comics. Because they said they should have changed it to being an Asian man. Because he does kung fu and shit. Because these SJWs who write for these geek sites don't know anything about the character. The whole point of that character is that it's a white man immersed in Asian culture. That he is immersed in an alien culture is part of the point of that fucking character. Anyways, that's really all I got to say about this shit. It's obvious. I don't even think it's going to happen, mind you. I think it's just a rumor. I don't think anybody at Warner Brothers knows what the fuck they're doing with these things. I don't think anybody's made any decisions. Everybody's running around like a chicken with their head cut off in this situation. Nobody knows what they're doing. Yeah, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing here. So, moving on from Cape shit, let's talk about a little bit deeper shit. The Whore of Babylon up to more shenanigans again, and we're gonna have to cover it. So I had John Steele on here the other day. He called in, and he was giving me shit about, oh, why don't you help the Catholics, you know, instead of just making fun of them? Which again, I like John Steele. He's welcome to call in here anytime. You know, he thinks he's blocked from the chat. I don't know how that happened. I don't moderate the chat. I didn't do that to you, John, if you are. Anyways, I know for a fact you've given me shit in the past for being too soft on Catholics. To be honest, I think you're just stirring up shit. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, which I don't blame you. You're not even Christian. So if you could stir up shit amongst the Christians, I don't blame you for trying. But I think that's honestly what you're doing. The more I thought about the stuff you said, the more I think that's what you're up to. That said, though, here's what I would say in response to that, having thought about it. To everyone, and other people have said this, why don't you try and help us fix this instead of making fun of us? What would you have me do? Okay? Because the thing about it is, I don't believe you can fix this. I believe the way your power structure is set up and the way your theology is regarding hierarchies and power structures, you don't have any pragmatic means to clean house, and you don't even have the philosophical grounds to do so. How you think you're going to fix this is beyond me. Ultimately, if y'all are intellectually honest, you're going to have to do like, you know, my former associate Davis did and just finally say, oh, it would be presumptuous of me to fight this, and then sit down and shut up, which is what he ultimately decided to do. Anyways, I want to cover this tweet here because I found this interesting. And there's other Whore of Babylon stories we're going to get into. This is off of Church Militant's Twitter. The tweet was 11:29 a.m. September 11th. Sources confirm vagina. I don't know what this guy's name is. I'm like, I don't want to be a dick. I'm bad at pronouncing non-English names. So you know what? We'll call him V. Sources confirm V has activated the death switch, meaning if he winds up dead, a whole cache of documents incriminating Vatican cardinals, bishops, and the Pope himself will be revealed. Pray for V. We can confirm he lives in legitimate fear. Well, you know what? If V does indeed have this, and color me suspicious that he does, fuck him for not releasing them. Fuck him. And if indeed he has it, and his death is the only thing that will bring these things to light, then I pray Jesus take him home now. I'm tired of these people sitting on this shit because they want to protect the dignity of Holy Mother Church and all this other horse shit that has led to this crap in the first place. The other thing I'll say about it is I don't believe he does. I think that this is more of this bullshit fan fiction you see from these trad Catholics, where they just want to imagine that any minute now this problem's going to fix itself. Any minute now, this is going to fix itself. It's not going to fucking happen. All right? Not going to happen. Again, I don't want to harp on this subject this much, but like, what was it? Earlier this week, I saw an article where the Pope said that all the people stirring up this drama are like the great accuser who just wants to... He's calling the people that are actually pointing out his sins the devil. Like, there's not an ounce of repentance among the Catholic Church. Among these officials. They don't care. They're happy with the way things are. And you know what? And again, this is my speculation. I can't read minds. I'm not Professor X. Trust me, if I could, I doubt I'd have to be begging for fucking shekels on YouTube. That said, though, I suspect these trad Catholics are just... The moment there's any kind of reform, let's say Pope Francis steps down, does that solve all the problems? Not by a long fucking shot. It's only a small step in the right direction. But all the trad Catholics would use as an excuse to say, see, everything sorted itself out now. Nothing to see here, folks. The moment you trad Catholics that are kind of upset about this are given an excuse to look the other way again, that's exactly what the fuck you're going to do. That's exactly what you're going to do.
And then every day we're going to come up with some bad news and we're going to basically be saying this.
Well, basically, every time we think that we're pulled out of this topic, we're pulled back, in again, straight away.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, why are you harping on it so much? I don't know. Why is it on the news every fucking day? And, now there's, some people are saying, oh, well, the Protestants are just as bad. The Protestants have just as much. Here's the thing. I don't buy it. Now, maybe among, like, the dead, branches of Protestantism where they have, like, a dyke pastor or something, sure. And maybe there's some big mega churches that are corrupt as shit run by a Joel Osteen type where this shit's happening to. Sure. But you know what? I'm pretty consistent. Those organizations should be burnt to the ground, just like the Catholic Church. Any organization that engages in the systematic covering up pedophilia, as far as I'm concerned, that organization should be dismantled until not one single brick sits on top of another brick. And then you salt the earth. Somebody in the chat says, I want to talk about the Catholic question. Well, hop into the Discord and hop into the voice. I'll bring you on. Yeah, I don't... I don't see it any other way. So look, if you show me that one of these Protestant churches is engaging in the systematic covering up of child abuse, then fuck them too. And they get a bullet too, as far as I'm concerned. It's that simple. But here's the other thing. I don't believe among conservative Protestants, let's just say evangelicals. Let's just call that. That's what conservative Protestantism really is in America, at least. And I can't speak to the rest of the world, but here in America, evangelicals are conservative Protestantism. And among evangelicals, this shit isn't really an issue. I will say that when you do get sex scandals, as I've said this numerous times, but it's worth repeating. They're basically always involving consenting adults. And while that doesn't make it right, sure as hell makes it less wrong. And yeah, you can be less wrong, okay? You know, it's wrong to call a tomato a vegetable instead of a fruit. But it's more wrong to call a tomato a suspension bridge. You can be more wrong. So yeah, while it doesn't make it right, it makes it less wrong. And also, when these things do come to light among conservative evangelical churches, there's no circling the wagons and we're gonna protect this guy and cover it up. No, that motherfucker's cast the fuck out. In fact, it's arguably too harsh. You think Ted Haggard got employed anymore after that shit? No, he was gone, and nobody spoke his name anymore. In my area, the first church I was really involved with and I wasn't involved very deeply because I was still young in the faith, and plus my work schedule didn't allow me to get to church that often. But it was called New Song. It since got swallowed up by the Harvest Bible shit. But the pastor there was a guy by the name of Jamie Mitchell. Now, I liked Pastor Jamie a good amount. Had many dealings with him. He wrote a book called he wrote a book called blanking on it, Nineveh or Bust, and which I think you could probably go on Amazon and look it up. Anyways, after I was no longer involved in that church, like another church butted off of it, and I was more involved in that one. But we were still friendly with them. We still somewhat involved with them. And then all of a sudden I heard Pastor Jamie was fucking gone. And nobody wanted to even kind of talk about it. He was just gone. Like, there was a big brouhaha, and then everybody just stopped talking about it. And finally, I heard somebody told me, Pastor Jamie got caught banging the secretary, and had been for years. And you know what happened when they found out? The elders didn't circle the wagons around him. They didn't just quietly get him off there. They exposed it to the whole congregation one Sunday morning. They explained exactly why the fuck he wasn't giving the sermon, and the assistant pastor was now the regular pastor until we find a new permanent pastor. They explained exactly what the fuck happened. They aired that man's dirty laundry and said, and he's gone now. Arguably a bit harsh, even. But you know what? I'd rather be erring on the side of being too harsh than too lenient when it comes to my leadership. The Bible itself says, "Woe unto the teacher, for he shall be judged harsher." I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but that's what it says. You know.
Oh, I found Dennis Miller's take on Catholic priests.
Okay. It's not playing.
Yeah, the advertising blocked it.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead, continue. I'll get it.
All right, cool. So yeah, I don't believe that within evangelical circles that this sort of cover-up is a problem. Now, I could be wrong. But you know what? Any church that is doing it, be it, New Song Mega Church or the Catholic Church or the Methodists or whatever, as far as I'm concerned, any organization that is engaged in a systematic covering up of pedophiles, be it the Catholic Church, be it the Methodist Church, be it, Harvest Bible Mega Church Network, be it Penn fucking State football program, That organization needs to go fucking bye-byes. Because there's a rot endemic into it.
I was raised Catholic. Confess you first.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I heard a comedian once joke. He goes, I was Catholic growing up. I was an altar boy. And to answer your question, no. And then he goes, I was ignored. And that hurts more. So.
I knew the Catholic Church was in trouble when I Pope wearing his mitre sideways like a rally cap.
I like Dennis Miller.
Never trusted priests. I don't know about you. Even as a young kid, I remember I'd say, hey, what's his deal? No chicks, no cash, ever. Oh, what could go wrong there?
You know, I don't have a strong opinion on the celibacy thing. A lot of people are like, do you think if the priests were married that would solve it? I don't think it would solve it. I think a complete I think that the way the Catholic Church's power structure and their theology regarding their power structure is just flawed down to its core. It allows for no transparency and no accountability for your leadership. So, of course, if it wasn't this particular thing, it would be some other monstrous abuse of power. In fact, I would argue monstrous abuses of power have been pretty much the norm for the existence of the Catholic Church. And again, it's because they just have a structure that fosters it. Would celibacy help this particular problem? Probably. Getting rid of the celibacy thing. And I don't understand why you all want it in the first fucking place. Me, I want a spiritual leader that's a family man, okay? I want him to have a wife and to have some kids so that, you know, I as a man, when I get married, I can look to him. I as a man, when I get married, I can look to him. As you know, when I become a father, I could look to him as a role model and that kind of shit. You know? I don't trust the confirmed bachelor to be giving me this, you know, the spiritual advice.
Yeah, yeah. When the Bible says that you must be the leader of the church must be a husband of one wife, it doesn't mean that they're never married. It just means you're not divorced, which means that you're actually able to maintain a relationship and keep the relationship going.
So, you know, I want a spiritual leader that's a family man. Again, though, I don't have a super strong, you know, opinion on it. And like I said, I don't, either way, it's not the main problem. You know, the main problem is just the way the Catholic Church is structured. Again, allows for no accountability and no transparency with the leadership. So of course, shit like this happens. You know,
Yep.
it'd be surprising if it didn't.
Something when I was 12 years old, they were adamant about the hot dog on Friday. I'd end up around a camp, Pol Pot and Hitler. Yet, son, on the fucking rule book, huh?
So I think we're gonna go ahead and take a look at callers. What we got in the callers here? Nobody's in voice. I thought somebody was waiting in voice. Yeah.
Oh, earlier I actually found a clip that John Oliver actually made a clip in regards to the European Union. It's actually, I mean, it's kind of sympathetic to the European Union, but has an awesome opening.
Fuck. Did you play it? Man, it was coming in and out there.
This thing's never working when I want to.
No big deal. John Oliver, kind of shit, anyways.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you guys hear me all right?
We can hear you. What's on your mind, caller?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the discussion on the Catholic Church. Yeah, I think celibacy is a huge problem. I don't think there are many guys in the world, many people in the world who have the gift of celibacy, and just requiring that for your priest is problematic.
I don't think it's a good idea. As I said though, I don't think it's the main problem. Yeah, it would just it's just obviously better to have a fucking family man as a spiritual leader. I mean, it's more biblical too. Not that that matters to the Catholic Church, but see, I don't think it would fix a great deal. I really don't. I think the biggest problem is just again the way their church is structured, and and their theology regarding their leadership. They have no pragmatic means to get bad leaders in line, and indeed they have no philosophical grounds within their theology, within their theological framework, to even question their leadership. So
I was listening to, you're probably familiar with Jay Dyer, right?
Yeah, I like Jay. I've seen a few of his videos. I've had him on before. I like him.
Yeah, he touched on this issue on recent podcasts. He's a former trad cat himself.
He's Orthodox now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. And he says that, like, he pretty much says that, like, these trads who think they're going to reform the church, he pretty much called them downright delusional.
I don't think that's unfair. And, I mean, look, I have almost all of the same theological issues with Orthodoxy as I do with Catholicism. However, the difference is I don't think the Eastern Orthodox Church is a vile organization that I would like to see burnt to the ground. And the reason being is they just have their power structure set up better. And they just have a more biblical, a more common sense even approach to how they view their leadership theologically. Yes, you're deferential to your leadership as a general rule, but that only goes so far. That's not some absolute moral imperative, and it's idiotic to think that it is. And that's why you don't hear the same levels of scandals coming out of the Orthodox Church, because there actually are means of accountability and transparency within their leadership structure. There are none within the Catholic Church, and there's never gonna be. The closest you get is what are those SSPX or whatever guys that basically aren't Catholic, but they keep all the trappings of Catholics. They call themselves Catholics, but they're not under the authority of the Vatican or the Roman Catholic Church anymore. So really, they're not Catholic, regardless of what they want to say. But that's the closest thing to a reform is if you trad Catholics absolutely have to cling autistically to your security blanket of much tradition. Go be Sede Vancanus or whatever. I'm bad at pronouncing that. You know what I'm talking about. Those not Catholic Catholics, or go be Orthodox. It's that simple. You're not gonna save the whore of Babylon. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Isn't Davis pretty much Sede Vancanus? Excuse me, I'm mispronouncing that. Isn't Davis pretty much that? Like he's.
Last I heard, Davis is calling himself. Last I heard, Davis calls himself an esoteric Catholic at this point. And I don't know what the fuck that means. So you'd have to ask him. All right, you'd have to ask him on that.
Well, it's fitting. It's esoteric, so it's perfect for him.
I don't know what's going on with him anymore. I couldn't tell you.
He's probably gonna convert to Orthodoxy in about 5 years.
Hopefully, because at this point it's either that or he goes neo-pagan. But no, I don't want to. Yeah, there's been enough of that. Let's not. It's not hard.
Yeah, let's not like kick up too much dust on that issue. Actually, Davis is a good guy. I don't want to attack him too badly.
We had our falling out, and that's still going on. But I don't have any real bad blood towards Davis.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do I want to talk about? What do you think of like Nintendo? How like they now started charging for online?
Well, I don't like it on the one hand. Well, I mean, first of all, it doesn't really directly affect me because I don't do a lot of online play. The first time I ever hooked a console up online was for Mario Maker. And until a similar game like that comes out on the Switch, I don't see myself really doing online play on the Switch. I just, it's not for me. You know, I like multiplayer games when I have friends over and we play them and couch co-op. You know, if I want to race somebody in Mario Kart, I want it to be my friends, you know, maybe have a lady friend over, you know. Mario Kart's a great date game after all. I have no interest in racing a 10-year-old in Korea. So online games just, they're not for me.
I mean, for me personally, maybe there's some practical use because I've moved and some of my old friends are in town and I would like to play with them online, but
I
now
understand. I have friends.
extra.
I have friends that are the same way. They, you know, they have, and I have friends I've made online that I could play with. You know, that I you know, I'm not going to likely see that often. The point is, I whenever possible, I prefer couch co-op. There's not that many multiplayer games I'm huge into in the first place. So it's not something that directly affects me. I don't like it, but at the same time, if they used it as a good reason to make their online really, really good, I could see it paying off. Like I said, I understand why people are upset. It's something that I can't really have an emotional stake in because it's just not really likely to affect me directly anytime soon.
Well, it's like things that they promise for their online is cloud saved, and now apparently it's not. Cloud save isn't even supported on the most popular games on the Nintendo Switch.
Well,
so,
understand
like,
this.
BS.
Understand this, and I've said this numerous times. I mean, I'm not saying digital media doesn't have its place. I'm not saying it's completely trash, but you don't own it when you own digital media. You just don't. If you don't have a physical copy, you don't own it. I think it was, I forget exactly, but I think like some streaming service recently took movies off, and even if you bought them, those movies are gone now, kind of thing. Like it can just be taken away. Now, some companies are really, really good and trustworthy. Like, if you buy something off Steam, you're always going to be able to get it back, according to Steam. But let's say Steam switches owners in a couple years, and they decide, no, fuck you, we changed that. What are you going to do about it? You know, if you don't own it, if you don't own a physical copy, you don't own it. So you should be very, very weary about purchasing digital media. I realize if the big companies had their way, they would make everything digital media because they don't want you to own shit, okay? Your corporate tech overlords don't want you to own shit. Okay, they want you to be renting an apartment, leasing a car, and all your fucking entertainment is digital, which means you don't own it. So you don't own shit when it comes to your digital media, and you need to whatever decision you make regarding your media purchases, just have your eyes open to that fact. And make a decision accordingly is all I'm going to tell you. So yeah, you buy digital games, you don't fucking own it. You don't own it if you don't have a physical copy. It's that simple. You have a book, then that's a book that you own. You could go give it to the library. You could give it to a friend. You could loan it to a friend. You could sell it. Or you could choose to be buried with it like a fucking Egyptian pharaoh if you're so deem. But you own it. That is yours for as long as you like it until you shuffle off this mortal coil. That's not true of digital content. And people need to keep that in mind. And, I mean...
I see your point, but...
The only
not everyone has space within
I understand. Like I said, there are reasons to have digital over physical. There are reasons. All I'm saying is, be aware that you don't truly have ownership of it. And whatever decision you make regarding digital media, for whatever reasons you make it, just make sure your eyes are open to that fact, because I think a lot of people don't grasp it.
I agree. I agree with that.
Because, like, I mean, there was a Steam game that I was playing, and I uninstalled it, and after a few months, I reinstalled it, and apparently they didn't save my game saves in the cloud, and I don't know if how like the Steam backend works. If your game was uninstalled for some time, like a few months or whatever, game saves or however it works. But yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm thinking of like all of my game saves on all of my game files on a local computer.
Yeah. You know, you don't, if you don't have a physical copy, you don't really own it. There's a lot of downsides to digital media that I think people are blind to because all they see is the convenience, or they're just technophiles and they're just so enamored with the fact that it's new and high tech and bleeding edge or whatever other gay shit. You know, there's a lot of instances where people get enamored with technology to stupid extents. Like, I wanted to play some games on the channel here, so I needed to get a controller for my computer. So the only controller I knew would be completely compatible with Windows would be an Xbox controller. Okay, so I go to Walmart and I get an Xbox controller, right? Well, it took me a while to find, not Walmart, Target, sorry, because I don't go to Walmart, because you don't know what the Walmart's like in my county. Anyways, I go into Target, get me an Xbox controller. It took me a long time to find a corded Xbox controller, because I just didn't want to deal with a cordless, especially trying to sync shit up Wi-Fi wireless to my laptop is a fucking nightmare, because this laptop's a piece of shit. So I'm like, I'm just going to get a corded one. Now, what I found was funny is the corded one was half the price of the wireless. And there was a big thing on the side of the box where it's saying, why wireless? Or what? Why wired? Why hardwired? Well, you get no lag and it's half the price. And I thought, so this controller works better and is half the price, and they have to work to get people to, like, they have to convince people to buy this? Like, why does anybody have a wireless controller? They suck. They fucking suck. All right? There's the battery issues. There's lag. They're twice as fucking expensive. And yet, wireless is the fucking standard with controllers. Everybody wants a wireless controller. Because apparently, it's worth paying twice the price and your controller doesn't work as well to sit further away from the TV box. And it just simply comes down, in my humble opinion, to the fact that it's like a status symbol. You know, it's more high tech. You're not one of those fucking rubes with a wire connecting your controller to the... You might as well be living like a caveman. Like, there's a lot of tech people jump on just for the status symbol aspect of it, I guess.
For a true technophile, you wouldn't even need a controller. You would just use your Apple Watch as the controller.
Yeah, you just use the fucking implant they put right in your brain to control it with your thoughts. Just your fucking Borg nanites in your brain control the Xbox.
It'll be like just like that. It'll be totally cyberpunk.
Well, I've heard people say we already live in a cyberpunk dystopia, minus all the cool parts. You know, we get our Bugman tech overlords shoving it up our ass, but we don't have cool cyborgs or anything, or flying cars.
That's voluntary.
We just have people blending the lines between men and women. But other than that, we don't have robotic arms. We don't have cyborgs. We don't have guys who could punch through walls.
Yeah, there's no Spider-Man 2099 swinging around. None of the cool shit.
I mean, I'd even take the dystopian future of the Minority Report.
At least it's safe.
I mean, speaking of dystopian, have you guys, I don't know if you guys covered the whole Kavanaugh scandal about how drummed up transparent bullshit about, oh, he was inappropriate with a girl in high school.
Who's Kavanaugh again?
The Supreme Court judge.
Oh, the Supreme Court
Yeah.
guy. For some reason, I was getting the name mixed up in my head with that fucking quarterback dude on the Nike ad. I'm like, wait, what was this?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of liberal assault from the Kavanaugh thing, and I know they're pushing a lot of bullshit, but it doesn't seem to be working. Trump is pushing that right through. I mean,
the Republicans aren't cucking over they're not cucking to accusers like they did with Roy Moore.
Mm.
You know, I've never liked Roy Moore. And I say that as someone who's been aware of him for years. Back in, I think even in my high school days when I was like a fucking fedora agnostic, I was aware of him because he was, you know, Roy Moore liked to feel like he was smarter than everybody else. He liked to pick a fight. He liked to be almost a contrarian, despite his trad upbringing. Like when he was a judge in Alabama, he put up this huge fucking Ten Commandments monument. Just this obnoxious, fucking expensive ass thing with the taxpayer dime, and then the ACLU sued him, and he did it specifically because he wanted to get sued, because he wanted the fight. He wanted to be out there, in my humble opinion, you know, being he wanted a martyr, you know? He wanted to be the martyr. And that's why when he got announced in this, I kind of said, and I'm on record, I've been on my streams, I've been on Forney's streams, I think I've been on Davis's streams even saying this. I didn't like the guy. I thought he was a bad candidate. I thought I thought that he wasn't, and mind you, I think he won. I think it was stolen from him. But the thing about it is that it was close, and that's how the Democrats were able to steal it from him. And a Republican running in what was that, bumfuck Alabama or some shit where this was taking place, it shouldn't be close. So I think he was a terrible candidate. And I think, yeah, the left did a snow job on him. Yeah, they did a character assassination. But I just think he's just such a shithead who lives 3 feet up his own ass that he made it easy for him.
Bechtloff,
Roy Moore, the trad skeptic.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying there? Am I what
yeah,
now?
you went out a little bit there. Yeah,
Oh, I said.
I could see why.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know much about Roy Moore personally. I just I could see how he could be a bit of a Fred Thompson type character where he just attacks video games, for example, because with them.
Roy Moore is, for better or worse, everything you've ever heard about the religious right years ago. He's just that, for better or worse. He's everything the left says the religious right is. That's Roy Moore. And in some cases that's a good thing, especially these days. In some cases not so much. And like I said, he's just an arrogant asshole who always thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. You know, and what have I said here numerous times about ego these past few weeks that everyone just keeps demonstrating in front of me? You know, Roy Moore's ego is Roy Moore's biggest problem, and it always has been. He picks fights where none need be. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. He took no good fucking advice. He didn't run his campaign as well as he should have. He's not as brave as he thinks he is. He kind of cucked out a bit when people asked him about, you know, these issues and all, regarding. So the issue everybody brought up is Roy Moore dated a teenage girl when he was in his like early 30s. He did so under the watchful eyes.
Kind of creepy.
He did so under the watchful eyes of their parents. He was courting this girl. And the fact remains that he could have just said, look, I spent my young adult life working very, very hard on becoming a successful lawyer. That did not leave me a great deal of time to date. When I finally was in a position where I was looking for a wife, unfortunately, all the women in my deeply religious circle, my age, were taken. So I had to look younger. I dated a teenage girl.
Totally,
If he'd just said, I dated a teenage girl under the watchful eye of their parents, I never touched that girl. I was courting her under the guise of my under the guidelines of my religion, and I would never have touched that girl until she was married, and I would have never married her until she was of legal age. If he'd have said that in Alabama, he would have diffused that situation, but he didn't.
So
he was like, I don't
try
remember. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't right. Let's not talk about it.
So he didn't even try to explain himself?
Not really. He pushed out. He was afraid. Because he knew how easily it could be misconstrued. And if he'd have stood his guns, maybe he would have still, maybe it still would have blown up in his face, but he'd have had a better shot. But the abyss stared him in the eyes and he blinked, is what it boils down to. He's not the badass prophet he thinks he is. The abyss stared him down, and in the moment of truth, he blinked.
Yeah. I think for any conservative public figure, they need to, like, any conservative that wants to come out as a public figure, they need to, like, prepare themselves mentally and practically to deal with allegations. And if they're not prepared, if they don't prepare themselves to do so, then I mean, it's their own fault if they end up becoming like Roy Moore.
Well, part of the problem is, and again, I'll harp back to this, taking yourself too seriously, acting like you're the greatest fucking thing in the world, acting like, you know, you're the most pure motherfucker in the world. And no Christian should be taking that position anyways. You know,
absolutely not. It's ridiculous.
You know, like if you're some right wing guy and you know you got drunk and blew some dude in college and nobody knows about it, you know, the fucking NSA knows about it and they're gonna drag that shit up, okay? And you better be prepared for that. You better be prepared for whatever skeletons you have in your closet gonna get dragged out. And if you're somebody who takes yourself too fucking seriously, if you're somebody who lives 3 feet up your own ass, and if you're somebody who has portrayed yourself as some sort of saint when you're not, nobody is, then it's going to destroy you.
There is a good example. I don't know if are you familiar with the Italian Prime Minister Berlusconi?
I am not. No.
He is like he was a conservative politician. He was a right winger, and he said like he pretty much played with the whole womanizing thing. Like he pretty much said that Angela Merkel has a unfuckable ass. Sorry to be blunt, but that's what he said. And like it's pretty much worked. I don't follow Italian politics too closely, but it didn't seem to blow in his face too much to, you know, be, you know, as blunt as he is. And like Trump is a good example of that. Well, Trump is the most obvious example, obviously. You know, they try to make a Stormy Daniels into some type of victim feminist hero when she's just a prostitute.
Yep. I don't know what they're thinking with that. Like, oh my God, Trump banged a porn star. Like that's gonna make people fucking.
And as far as I know, even though Trump's not pure as a driven snow, he has never had any. Could tell. He has never had any inappropriate relationships with women in professional context. All the stuff that he's been in trouble for, like, you know, banging a prostitute or whatever, or getting divorced and remarried multiple times, those are all stuff that happened in his personal life.
Hey, hang on a second. I have a clip we need to play here.
There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding dong.
I don't know if you could hear that in the Discord.
Which one was it? I'll try to play it.
It was
hear it at all.
There's no video for President Trump sucking a ding dong. Which, by the way, folks, I just got heard we got a sponsor this week. It was a last minute sponsorship, but Steve's Jerky. Steve's Jerky, folks. You need to get you some Steve's Jerky. All right. In fact, you know what? Let's hop over to Steve's Jerky, and we'll screen share this. I've had me some Steve's Jerky. A lot of people have had some Steve's Jerky in the chat, and just great stuff. So yeah, look at this stuff, man. And I'm very picky on jerky myself. Like, I don't want it too dry, but I don't want it just like greasy and nasty. You know, like crap you get at the gas station or something. I like thin cuts. You get a lot of that with it, Steve's Jerky. Just great stuff. I'm going off the cup here, because I don't have the ad copy in front of me. But just look at that, man. Look at that. Steve's Jerky is great. It's $10 a bag, 5-ounce bag, and I think don't hold me to this, but I think it's a little bit more than 5 ounces. I think he errs on the side of over, not under. I really do, because it's filling. It's very filling, and $3.75 for shipping. But if you get 3 bags, shipping is free. So check out some Steve's Jerky, folks. Just great stuff. Alrighty, getting back to what we was doing there. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, banging prostitutes. And I played a short little clip there of Alex Jones saying there's no video of President Trump sucking on a ding dong. And so what if there was? So, Alex Jones, national treasure. Alrighty. Anything else on your mind there, caller? I don't know if anybody else wants to call in. It doesn't look like it.
Actually, wanted to ask you a question. Have you been playing any Metroidvania games lately? Like any of the new ones, like Dead Cells?
Well, I mean, I just a little while ago I played the new Metroid game, if that counts. I was playing Samus Returns, the remake, upgrade, whatever you want to call it, on the 3DS. But yeah, other than that, there really haven't been any Metroidvania games I've been playing lately. Most of what I've been playing lately has been Breath of the Wild, just straight up.
Yeah. How long have you been playing that game now?
I got it a little after Christmas, like about a week after Christmas, so about 9 months now. No,
have you visited all the shrines yet?
Is it all what?
Did all the shrines yet?
I've gotten almost all the shrines. I've gotten basically all but a few activated, and I've done most of them. I've done just a whole hell of a lot of dicking around in that game. It's just incredibly fun to wander around and explore. Oh, I got the big horse a couple weeks ago. There's a really big horse you can get, and really jacked up in power levels too. And it's one of the side quests is getting a picture of it too for somebody or whatever. There's other things I messed around with. Like at one point, I thought maybe you could do it. Sometimes at night, the skeleton bogoblins, sometimes they're on skeleton horses. And if you kill one of them, you can actually mount the skeleton horse and calm it down and ride around on it. So I, of course, took it to a stable, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get my Ghost Rider horse in my stable, and they wouldn't take it because it's a horrible undead abomination, and it dies as soon as it becomes 5 a.m.
You need to complain to NAACP about that. I
also rode around on the Mountain King horse-like beast, and they wouldn't They wouldn't let me register him either.
There's that one town in Breath of the Wild with all the strong, independent women of color. What's that town called in the desert?
Oh, the one you have to dress in drag to get in?
One, yeah.
It's funny, too. I knew how to get into that town before I ever played it. Because there is an insane amount of Link in drag disturbing fucking art floating around out there. And I remember back when I was on Twitter last year, that shit was all over the place, like immediately after Breath of the Wild came out. So like that little bit of gameplay got spoiled to me for me in a hurry. Like as soon as I was wandering around in the desert, I knew, well, I got to find girl clothes somewhere.
I don't know what you want to be talking about, but
Link
please don't.
does make a pretty good trap, though. Kind of stuff.
Toad,
Yeah.
Toad used to stink. What's on your mind?
I don't know what you all were talking about, but please donate to my PayPal. But yeah, are you talking about Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, we were talking about traps in Breath of the Wild.
That's wonderful. That was like okay, Mario Odyssey. You can wear Peach's wedding dress, and it's like I'm never gonna use that. It's like the one costume I will never put on. That and the clown costume, except you need it for a moon. The clown.
Doesn't count. Yeah, well, doesn't count as a trap because Mario's mustache makes Mario stand out.
Wait, are you saying a woman can't have a mustache? You're a bigot.
I know, that's these days. These days. I mean, trannies don't even put fucking effort into it anymore.
It's like a Chan.
No. No, pro Jared is actually the best trap.
Well,
that's true.
The alt-right YouTubers do put a little bit of effort into it.
Yeah, Blair White's
other
got
than
got a convincing illusion going on.
Did you hear Blair White's getting married?
Oh, jeez.
To a guy.
Like, I guess I could understand somebody wanting to fuck that if they just didn't care, but you wouldn't turn that into a quote-unquote wife? Can you imagine how fucking badly Blair White's gonna age?
Yeah, apparently, I mean, I didn't watch the video, but I've heard he did a video where he just showed his boyfriend all these pictures of him when he was like a kid, and the boyfriend's like creeped out.
Who's got an echo there? Who's listening to stuff in the background there?
Yeah, apparently, I mean, I didn't watch the video, but I've heard. Was that me? Or
it was actually me somehow. I don't. Fuck! I clicked the wrong thing. All right, yeah, that was me. Never mind.
Yeah, I thought I muted my headset, so it shouldn't be in echo.
Yeah, that was me. But go ahead.
A little bit.
She showed her.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. He showed his boyfriend pictures of him before the change. And what was his reaction?
I don't know. I didn't watch the video.
Oh.
I think he was grossed out though. That's just by the thumbnail. I think the intention of the video was Blair White trying to creep him out.
Oh, jeez. Blair White subconsciously trying to tell him, like, dude, run away from me.
Blair White still has a dick, so at least from my understanding.
Well, you know, I've taken this position before, and I'll take it again. And don't misunderstand me when I'm saying this. I'm not advocating either one. But I contend that it is less degenerate to fuck a pre-op tranny than a post-op tranny. Now, here's why. If you're fucking a pre-op tranny, you're just engaging in sodomy. Not a good thing by any stretch. But when you're fucking a post-op, you are fucking someone's open wound. And that is beyond sodomy, okay? That is... Like, they didn't even tell you not to do that in the Bible because it hadn't occurred to anybody, all right?
And they didn't have the technology.
That is some pinhead shit, okay?
I remember reading
you're not doing sodomy at that point. You're doing Cenobite shit to another person.
Apparently, Nero used to engage in that type of behavior.
Who?
Milo?
Nero? No, I don't think Milo's into traps.
Well, Nero was his Twitter handle. That's why I made that joke.
don't think they had Twitter back then.
What year was what? Okay, which Nero? Like the Roman guy? They didn't teach me. I'm in public school.
Nero is the guy who invented gay marriage. And he was the first guy to marry a man, and he married into women, and he used to saying in the part that the boy part that he turned into a lady part. We'll just say that.
Cut it off.
That's just fucking horrible. So, speaking of horrible, folks, I have something I'm going to share with y'all. So I was in the Discord and I was all like, "What does everyone think? What is going? Somebody's got some fucking background noise. Everybody, people, mute your fucking mics. What's going on here? Somebody's shuffling cards or something."
Was that me? Did it go off for a second?
I don't know, but just whatever. Just don't be doing whatever it is people were doing there. Anyways, I was in a Discord and I was like, "What does everyone think of Pro Jared? I really like his videos. He does great reviews, but I get a bit of a soy boy vibe off of him." And somebody was like, "Well, you think you got a soy boy vibe off of him? Take a look at this." And this is what the fuck they sent me. Apparently, Pro Jarrett took pictures of himself dressed as one of the Sailor Moon characters.
Post it in the stream images so I can see.
It's
please.
It's something. It's something. Let me post real quick in the stream images for you there. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I part of me wants to know the fucking context to this, and part of me definitely doesn't. Like, holy shit, man. Was this like a joke in one of his videos or something? Oh, jeez.
My God, that's. I mean,
probably okay. Like the one Luke puts up there. The one Luke put up looks like it's a joke in the videos. The one I put up looks like he sent it to his boyfriend. Like, okay, here's the one that looks like, okay, that's just a joke in his videos. I get it. You're a video. You're an entertainer. You know, it's funny. You know, that kind of thing. I'm not throwing stones at him for that. Because, again, you know, you're making videos.
Yeah. Well, I think what he was trying to do is, like, you know, he was trying to make a little bit of side money on one of those cam websites, you know, because it's good to have as many streams of income as possible.
I don't know. You know, I was actually kicking around the idea. I was kicking around the idea of buying the first volume of the Sailor Moon like manga, just because I saw it on Amazon for like super cheap. And I thought, you know, I like superhero stuff. Maybe I'll give this a shot. And, you know, I never liked the cartoon, but I always thought it had potential. Like its actual like setup and premise. I just thought the cartoon was like really, really poorly written. Like even as a kid, I'm like, this kind of sucks. But I was kicking around the idea I might give the manga a shot. Because again, it's like $1 on fucking Amazon.
Idea for a game. Why don't we make an indie game with Pro Jared as Sailor Moon?
Did you just call an anime a cartoon?
Yes. I usually call them Gooktoons, but...
Yeah.
Gooktoons. Like every time somebody's like, "Oh, I read manga," I'm like, "Fuck you. Read a comic book like an American. Just make sure it's one before about 2012. They got really positive for that.
Yeah. Talk over you.
Animu or somebody in the chat. Animu or cartoons, deal with it. Yeah, you're.
Can you hear background noise right now?
I don't hear background noise right now. No.
Okay, good.
Is that the person you got chained up in your basement screaming for help?
That's Pro Jared.
It's Pro Jared, yeah. He's. You're like, "You're my Sailor Mercury tonight," or whichever one he was.
There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding dong.
This is true. And you know how you know there's no video of it? Because if there was, it'd be on continuous loop on CNN all day. They wouldn't even censor it. They'd take the fines. Somebody in the chat says the pro in Pro Jared is short for prostitute. It's like, I like Pro Jared's videos, though. I think as a content creator, he's really good. Like, and he doesn't even shove his gay soy boy fucking politics that I'm sure he has into his videos. The only time I got even a hint of that was when he was doing the review for that Trash Fire Ride to Hell Redemption, and he was complaining about all the sexism in it. And all that got from me really was a eye roll. It wasn't even that bad.
My God.
But, like, other than that, his reviews are pretty fucking solid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time following viewers on YouTube because, it's entirely subjective what games are good and what games.
But you know what? The thing about a good critic is I'm really, Roger Ebert was like this. And I always thought Roger Ebert was kind of an asshole. But at the same time, I could tell whether or not I'd like a movie from a Roger Ebert review. Because it was very clear where his taste lied and the way he'd explain something. Even if, he's like, I hate this movie because of these reasons, I knew I might like that movie for those exact same reasons.
You know what reviewers I really like? Game Explain. Make good videos. They're totally soy-filled, though.
The ones I watch a lot of, I watch Pro Jarrett. I like him. Game versus Game is pretty good. Console Wars is pretty good, although supposedly the one guy that works on Console Wars just had some mental breakdown recently, and the channel might actually be done.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. But Console Wars is pretty good. Some Call Me Johnny is really good. I enjoy his stuff a lot.
Yeah, watch him.
Obviously, I enjoy Angry Video Game Nerd, but I consider that more a comedy show than a straight-up review show. There's some guys I do thoroughly enjoy. Some Call Me Johnny's probably the best just straight-up reviewer out there. Pro Jarrett is probably a close second. The one thing I really admired about Pro Jarrett, and he caught a lot of shit about this, was he was one of the first of the bigger names to go out there and say that the Angry Video Game Nerd video game is not very good. Like, he actually he wasn't merciless on it, but he really said, this is a pretty deeply flawed game here. And what is that background noise? What the hell is that? Stop. Mute your mic, whoever's doing that. Anyways, he was one of the first guys that was like, this is not very good. And there's no way in hell I could recommend this to anybody but a hardcore Angry Video Game Nerd fan. And you already have it. And he was one of the first guys to say that, and he got a lot of shit for it. The other guy I love, although he's not even really a game reviewer, he only did a little bit of that, was JonTron. JonTron's probably, after Medicare, JonTron is the best stuff on YouTube. Just hands down. JonTron is the best content on YouTube after Medicare. And after that, I'd say...
I always thought he's overrated.
Razorfist is up there.
After that, I'd put James Rolfe's content.
Personal favorite is Razorfist. I think he's... good
old Razorfist.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about him a little bit. But yeah, he's been on this channel a lot. I love Razorfist. He does more rants than really reviews here lately, though. But he is a damn good video game reviewer. I do enjoy his reviews a great deal.
I enjoy him more as a game streamer. He has some very good game streams on Deus Ex and Hitman and Battlefield 1. I think he's I haven't watched many of his game reviews.
I like his game reviews a great deal, and again, he covers a lot of games that I'm not big in, so it kind of keeps me up to date on some of what's going on there.
One of my favorite reviews is Cuphead, because there's just so much contained in it. This particular clip I like.
To the game being discriminatory, not for having any Panzerfaust proclivities of its own, but for being inspired by cartoons. occasionally fucking did. Fucking wow.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play Cuphead for a while. I might download that here soon off my Steam.
I think you
Cuphead's
said you watched
awesome.
him earlier, but do you watch Arlo?
Do I watch what?
Arlo.
Arlo. Yeah, I do watch Arlo, but I haven't watched him in a while. I mean, I think I'm still subscribed to him. I just haven't seen any videos of his pop up in a while. That's the thing about YouTube subscriptions. You know, especially, you know, you can easily forget about something if YouTube stops letting it pop up in your fucking things. But yeah, I did watch Arlo
He
quite a bit.
probably unsubbed you because his last upload was like 23 hours ago, and he's been uploading pretty much daily lately. So
he unsubbed me.
They unsubbed you.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I thought like you were saying like
no
like,
Muppets for you.
I thought he was saying like he blocked me from the channel. Like, what did I do to him? Damn it, Arlo! What did I do to you? Another one.
Muppet.
Speaking of puppets, yeah, I'm not subscribed to him now. What the fuck? Well, fix that.
That's a known thing with YouTube. I've never seen it happen.
But anyways, the other one I really like, and I might have him on the channel actually at some point. I don't know whether he'll be in character or not, but Teddy Rubskin does not get enough. Speaking of puppets, he does his reviews as like a bear. They're actually really cool. Let me look up a Teddy Rubskin video real quick.
A literal bear or a San Francisco bear?
No, not a San Francisco bear. Just he's like a little teddy bear. He does his reviews as a teddy bear.
A Boston bear. A Boston bear.
Yeah, like a thick Boston accent. Like as thick as Carl from Aqua Teen's New York or New Jersey accent. Yeah, he reviews snacks too. I've said to Steve's Jerky before. I've told him he should send Teddy Rubskin some jerky so he can review it. But yeah, he does a lot of Sega Genesis reviews specifically, and he actually he calls himself when he does those reviews the pugnacious Sega Genesis geek, and he even says in like the song like we're ripping off the nerd. Like, he's like, and we found this fucking game that's a turd. So we're gonna fucking rip off the nerd.
Yeah, I've actually been subscribed to him for a long time now.
Yeah, his stuff's great, man. I highly recommend Teddy Rubskin. Especially because, again, you know, one of his funniest ones was he got he did like a live reaction to the Thundercats Roar trailer. And he's like, everyone's telling me I should fucking watch this trailer. And I'm just like, come on, it's fucking Thundercats. How bad can it be? And then he's watching it, he's like, oh my god, what the fuck is this?
So, Bechtloff, what are your thoughts on Peachette and its impact on the Mario lore?
On Peachette? What the fuck is Peachette?
So they announced a port of New Super Mario Bros. U with Toadette, and she collects a power-up and becomes Princess Peach for some reason.
I don't understand why that would happen.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. I mean, if you take Mario Maker as canon, Mario can turn into a whole bunch of different people.
Is Mario
including ones that don't exist in his universe?
Mario's meant to be a consistent universe with a deep canon. I think it's just meant to serve as an excuse for some fun video games.
No, what are you talking about? Mario is incredibly deep lore. I mean,
the deepest of lore.
You know. Deepest, way deeper than Zelda or any of those other games.
There are many.
Yeah. Few people know that.
Can't get a more complicated story than a Mario game.
Kojima actually wrote some of the Mario games. Few people know that.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Mario.
He wrote 3D World. That was
not that. Yeah.
Mario is actually the deep psychological study of a drug addict.
Yeah, didn't you realize that the Mario games were all about preaching about neo-reactionary monarchism?
Yes, it is about a drug-addled neo-reactionary monarchist who's just imagining that he's going to save the princess, but he never gets the cookie. But he never gets the pussy in the end because he just realizes that he will always be a beta loser.
Bowser represents the dragon of modernism. Like, come to life. That's
Bechtloff, you better play Super Mario Odyssey and see what a beta cuck Mario is.
See what a beta cuck Mario is.
Yeah.
When did Mario turn into a beta cuck?
I don't want to spoil the ending.
Like in that
show Mario.
Like in the picture you have of him in the BDSM getup.
I don't know
Except
if I like
Peach
that.
Isn't attracted to that. That's the ending to Mario Odyssey.
Peach fucks Bowser. That's the ending.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, maybe it's sort of like implied. You know how like your girl goes off to college for about 4 years. You're kind of hoping that like the relationship will last, that she's not seeing anyone else. That's sort of the thing going on between Peach and Bowser in Super Mario Odyssey.
Turns out,
I feel truly terrible.
Waluigi was banging them all. The ladies' man.
Wad.com.
Wario is like the total anti-cuck. Like, he just takes what he wants. You know, he doesn't care about morals. He doesn't care about his reputation. Like, he's
Wario
such a
is
hedonist.
MGTOW.
I hate the women. I hate evil.
You'll notice he's never chasing the ladies. He's chasing the gold. He's got to get paid.
Your money.
Yeah, well, I mean, with all that gold, he could make himself like a super pimped out sex robot. So what's the point of chasing the ladies?
He's MGTOW to the max.
Who knows? Maybe the reason why Waluigi exists is because they're not related, apparently, according to Miyamoto. So the reason Waluigi exists, maybe Wario's banging him.
I always kind of suspected that. What the fuck? But then again, I don't know. I always thought Daisy was Peach's sister too, and then I found out that was not canon at all.
Have you seen the game theory on Rosalina? How she's like related to Princess Peach or something, like time travel and stuff.
Yeah, it's her daughter from the future, according to game theory.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Cool idea. Mario gets cucked by Luigi.
Well, you know, Luigi is thinner, so he's got that going for him, and he
I'm
jumps
taller.
higher. And he jumps higher. So. Alright. Well, I'm probably going to wrap this up because I'm about out of shit to talk about tonight. There's a bunch of topics, but, you know, kind of rapid fired through them all. Wasn't a ton to say about any of them. So I hope, folks, tomorrow I will probably be on Fallen Angel Cinema. I'm not exactly sure on the time. Check out the Discord and all for more on that. We obviously there's the main event tomorrow on YouTube, 5:30 Eastern. I guess you could check out Sargon's channel, The Thinkery, which is, by the way, one of the gayest fucking names. Like,
what you should do instead, actually, is go on Twitter and look and follow.
Yeah, I was
Derek
gonna say
worst joke.
What you ought to do, though, is wait for Jim to stream snipe him. Because here's the thing. Even if you're Team Sargon, the only way you're going to get all the content is if you're on Jim's stream. So, wouldn't it be hilarious if then Sargon starts stream sniping Jim and it's like they're debating each other on separate streams? Like if it devolves into that.
Stream snipe session.
Just, yes, streamception. Just each of their streams is just like the window and a window and a window and a window going down.
There will be a whole lot of echoes.
they're just responding to each other 30 seconds later. It's like,
jeez, it's gonna be. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, and I don't think anybody does. But I think we can almost be completely guaranteed that something entertaining is going down tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, that's when it's happening. Like when
5:30 Eastern is when Sargon is supposed to go live, which is
I'll be at church.
Which is then when Jim's gonna go live, and if I have something to add afterwards, I will do a post game stream talking about it. I don't know if it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. For all I know, Jim and Sargon are going to go like 7 fucking hours. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who the fuck knows what's going on tomorrow? But I'll tell you this. If it's Sunday night, it's time for Jim. And I can't emphasize that enough. That's my Sunday night entertainment from now on. Because he's going to be doing the septic community for a while. And like I said, if after he's done, you might want to check out this channel, because I might be hopping on here to have something to say about it. I don't know. It's going to be something.
Anyone watching football over this should kill themselves.
Absolutely.
Oh, hell no. I don't think anybody watches football anymore.
Well, I mean, if you watch football, odds are you're a boomer. So.
Well,
you don't
my
know how
dad
to
is
use
a
the
boomer,
internet.
so.
Yeah, that's exactly what my dad is. He's a boomer, watches football, and doesn't use the internet.
Sorry to hear that. Anyways, that's all I got for this week, folks. Thanks, Luke, for your sidekick duties as always. Thanks for the callers for hopping in. I think we had a pretty good show tonight. And that's all we got for tonight, folks. Bechtloff out.